Hi guys, my name is Nicolette Mashile. I am also known as the Financial Bunny. Welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. Today we're talking all things the HUMANZ app. Now you may not know or you may have heard a little bit about the HUMANZ app. And today I want to get into a little bit of a review of how the app works. How do you actually make money off it? Because I know a lot of people speak about how, yeah, we've landed a campaign on the HUMANZ app. But for some people, they are so frustrated because they've been on the HUMANZ app, they've been influencers, and they're still not getting any work from the HUMANZ app. Now remember, nothing that I say on this channel constitutes as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody that is certified and registered with the FSCA. In actual fact, I was supposed to do this video a while back because I did a live video with the guys from HUMANZ to get a better understanding of how does the app actually work, how does influencer marketing work, and what is the influencer marketing landscape in a country like South Africa. And the reason for this is because we have seen many influencers, notable somebody like Mehlali, end up on the Forbes 30 under 30, and that is a great achievement for somebody that has been using her influence and actually using her her influence to be able to climb up the ladder in a country like South Africa, right? But also, just the other day, I saw somebody saying, actually, I've made over 93,000 Rand off the HUMANZ app this year. And I know for some people who may be making huge amounts of money, 93,000 Rand might not sound like a lot of money. But for somebody that is not really making huge amounts of money, 93,000 Rand is almost 9,000 Rand every single, okay, maybe 8,000 Rand perhaps every single month. 8,000 Rand every single month. And we're assuming, right? I'm not saying that this person was getting 8,000 Rand every single month as if it's a salary, but I'm saying that if you were to divide it, it literally can come down to like 8,000 Rand every single month. That is some of our salaries also, we know when we started, or for the majority of the country, that's actually a very high income, right? So I wanted to get a better understanding of what this app is all about. And basically, HUMANZ is a mobile app. Now, if you think a little bit about some of the OGs that came before HUMANZ in South Africa, you're talking about a platform called Webfluential. You're talking about a platform like In the Hash. I don't know if you guys ever used those, but Webfluential was an actual website where you could create your whole identity in terms of who you are, what it is that you... In fact, when I think about it, at some point in my life, when I was still young, there used to be an app called Face to Face. It wasn't an app. It was actually a website called Face to Face. And you basically would upload your pictures, who you are, where you stay, how old you are, what are your clothing sizes. And these guys would get campaigns with promotion companies, right? So it was almost like an online promotions agency, and you could bid for certain, I don't know if the bid is the correct word, but you could basically, you would go on the actual face-to-face website and there would be jobs that you can actually be interested in, and you can show your interest by, I don't remember if the word was bid, but you would show them that you're interested in the job, and they would come on that face-to-face and actually shortlist the people that they wanted to speak to, if they wanted to speak to you on the phone or you had to come through before they could give you the job. So Webfluential is almost similar to that, where brands would come and actually put together like a campaign, and they would put it there, and you can actually say, I'm interested in working with this brand and these are my rates. So you would put up all of your social media channels, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube, and then you would they've got an algorithm that helps you in terms of if you have a certain amount of number of followers, this is kind of the range in which you would be billing for whatever it is that you want to do, right? And then they've got also something really cool. Like I haven't used them in a very long time, so I don't know where they are right now. But when I was there a couple of months ago, and I would say even a year, because I think my last campaign with them was something for Nedbank, something which didn't really pan out as well as I had hoped. They had a thing where, for instance, a brand would say, we have this much. What is your proposal to the brand? What can you do? This is what they want to achieve. What do you think you can do? Then you can say, no, I can do a YouTube video. This is what I'm going to do in my YouTube video. I can do like a 2 or 3 IG posts. And basically that's how Webfluential kind of works. And then you would then bill the client Basically, the client via the Webfluential platform, they would put in your invoice and you would get paid through the Webfluential platform. Now, again, as I said, this was a platform and not necessarily a mobile app. Then there was In the Hash that also came. In the Hash is very similar to what Webfluential did. Also, influencer campaigns. You would load your social media, and I got quite a number of campaigns also from In the Hash. It was quite a lot of it being on Facebook, and I was getting paid quite handsomely. I think for a post at some point I was getting paid like 13,000 for the amount of followers I had, but this is like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Then obviously came this beauty called HUMANZ app. Basically, you can download the HUMANZ app from iOS, you can download from the Android store, and you literally the HUMANZ app is simply a platform. And I know a lot of people get very confused because they think it's a full-on agency. It's not an agency. It is a platform that facilitates these influencer campaigns on both sides. So for influencers and for their clients, right? They've got a responsibility, one, to make sure that when people do get jobs, first and foremost, that the people who say they are, who people say they are, they really are those people. So for instance, I can come there and I say I've got 100,000 followers. And then what they will do is they will do a little thing where they search all of these followers and see if these are really humans or some of them are robots. And it will give you what is called the HUMANZ app score. I think it's called the HUMANZ or the influencer score, something like that. I can't remember what the score is called, right? This will indicate, obviously, to brand managers and those guys who want to run campaigns on the HUMANZ app that yes, Nicolette may have 100,000 followers, but only 80% of those followers are really humans. So do you really want to go ahead with? So again, so I say it kind of authenticates our influencers, and in terms of not just how many followers they've got, their engagement rate. Do you engage with your followers? Their reach. How many people are you reaching? Where are you reaching them? Where are these? Because you may find that you are a local known person in your space. So you may find that you are, for instance, let's say I'm from Mpumalanga, and a lot of people in Mpumalanga know me. So my big chunk of my followers are from Mpumalanga. Now I want to maybe go for a job that is a national campaign. And all of a sudden, I'm with my many numbers, I'm not really appealing to the national campaign, but I would appeal to a campaign, obviously, in Mpumalanga. So that's kind of what they do on the influencer side. On the brand side, obviously, they make sure that there's a legit brand. They're actually going to pay you. They've got a full campaign. There's an actual brief. They've communicated their expectations of how many posts, where are the posts, what do we want you to do? Because also you don't find yourself in a situation where you are in an influencer campaign, you've done your content, you've posted, and then client comes back and say, yeah, but you didn't use the hashtag, or yeah, but you didn't use the link. So all of those things, they kind of facilitate also from a client perspective. But they also guide clients in terms of what type of influencers your campaign is looking for. Not all campaigns are going to need people with big numbers. So there's a thing called micro influencers, macro influencers, and mega influencers, right? Based on numbers, based on engagement, based on reach, all of those things make up an algorithm of what would classify you as an influencer. Maybe I need to take a couple of steps back and talk a little bit about what is influence and what is an influencer. Well, right now, part of the marketing matrix is that we do have what is called influencers. And influencers can be seen as mini media houses. So see an influencer as like a Sunday Times or a City Press, or you see them as like a digital platform, because that's exactly what they are. They are using their influence, they're using their personality to be able to partner with a brand, partner with the campaign to communicate a certain message, right? So what you need to do as an influencer is to decide what type of an influencer are you. Are you a promoter? So when you're a promoter, for instance, you don't necessarily have interest in the subject matter, but you're a trusted voice to be able to introduce new audiences to new products, for instance, right? And then you've got people who are influencers based on subject matter. That would be somebody like me. So you will find that I do a lot of campaigns around the financial services sector brands. And this is simply because they've kind of recognized my voice as a trusted subject matter I don't want to say expert, but somebody who's got an interest in the certain subject matter, and I've created a trusted voice in that space. So they would use me to amplify some of their messages, or even ask me for my own opinions on those messages. And then, for instance, I'm doing something with Standard Bank and WalletWise, right? And they don't dictate to me what the content is going to be. They give me a topic and they say what you want to say, and then bring in the education, because our brand WalletWise is your educational partner or financial educational partner as a South African, and we want to make sure that the message Nicolette is putting out there is in partnership also with what we're trying to promote as a campaign WalletWise, right? So, and then of course you find like influencers who are testing certain things, right? So you might not have huge numbers, but because people trust you to do reviews, to do product testing, and that sometimes becomes a little bit difficult because you can't just work with certain brands. You got to work with a whole lot of brands in a specific industry. So let's say, for instance, you're a beauty review influencer where you're reviewing different beauty products. You may find that you want to work on a certain brand, and then they go and check on your stuff and they're like, yeah, but last week you were speaking about this brand. And it's not that you are speaking about that brand, you are doing part of your job, and part of your job is to review beauty brands. So, of course, there's a whole huge amount of different types of influencers, because even now what is happening is that some people might not necessarily be influencers. They may have a following, so they are influential because maybe they are, and I'll give you an example with a person like Theo Baloy, right? So Theo is obviously, and he's not necessarily, I don't think he would call himself an influencer per se, but he's influential in the business space because he's successful. He started a successful award-winning sneaker brand. So a person like that, a brand might want to jump on that person to relay again a specific message, simply because this person is a person of influence. They're not necessarily an influencer. There's a huge difference between being an influencer and being an ambassador. It's also important for you to remember this, because as an ambassador, you tie yourself, your association, your belief, your everything to a specific brand, and you live and breathe that brand. Whereas as an influencer, you can even change your mind after even the campaign, or even during the campaign. If you are working with a true brand that wants the truth, you are able to say, listen, actually, I like your brand, but there's always one product that just really doesn't make sense to me. Or the other day, you guys send a very weird message, and you're not afraid of them taking the food out of your mouth because you are honest with it. Whereas sometimes as an ambassador, yes, you are aligned with the brand, but there may be things where you need to just, like, when there's a scandal, like in the media or social media, you just like, oh, please, I don't want to be part of the scandal, but you know what, I still trust you guys are still great, because you are an ambassador. And generally also this is divided by huge amounts of money, whereas influencers who work on campaigns, and maybe you're on a retainer, but you're being paid a fair amount of money depending on your worth. And I'll stress this, your worth, because at the end of the day, yes, it is about numbers, yes, it is about engagement, yes, it's about reach, but it's also about you as a person. A lot of people in this country are very afraid of attaching a certain price to their services, to their time, to their expertise, right? Whereas with ambassadors, some people are even going in the 6-figure digits, 7-figure digits. And you will remember things like, I think it was Minnie Dlamini was an ambassador for Nedbank at some point. Or was it Nedbank? Can't really remember. At some point, we saw Vusi Tembekwayo being an ambassador of Capitec at some point. So that's kind of like, when you look at that ambassadorship kind of side. So let's park this for 2 seconds and speak again about the HUMANZ app itself. So what generally happens is that HUMANZ will have an agreement with the brand. They'll put together this campaign. I said very important is that they facilitate in making sure that the brief is very clear, that the requirements and the criteria is very clear. So they'll say, for instance, you will log in and you will see, it will say, this is the campaign, these are the requirements, we need maybe 3 Instagram posts, this is how much we're offering, or a benchmark of how much we're offering, and this is the amount of followers we require you to have. And you may find some people will require 1,000 followers. Some people will require 100,000. The other day I saw a brand asking for 500,000 followers. But they put a benchmark of how much they think they will pay you. And then you need to do what is called the bidding system. So if you're keen on the campaign, you will then bid for that specific campaign. In part of your bid, you place a bidding price. So even if brand has said they're paying 10,000, if you believe that actually with my influence, my reach, and the type of work I'm going to be pushing out here, I want to be paid 20,000 Rand. You bid at 20,000 Rand because that's what you believe that you should be getting paid for that specific campaign, that amount of posts, and for the amount of engagement and reach you're going and value that you are going to deliver to the client for that specific campaigns. There are instances where I have bidded up exceeding that amount that client has put there, and I've gotten the job. And then there are times when you don't get the job. Generally there's also a communications channel on the HUMANZ app. So if you do get the campaign, if you land the campaign, somebody from HUMANZ will let you know, hey, you've landed the campaign. This is when we expect the first post to go up. This is what client wants, the hashtags, links. And then what you do is you then start with the work, right? So basically the contract is on the HUMANZ app generally. Then your first upload, you will upload the content that you want to upload. Then there's a campaign manager who will then say to you, we approve the content or we don't approve it. There's a place where you upload it, which is nice because this is quite a better way, because usually if you go on a campaign without doing it on a HUMANZ app, at the end you would need to send clients reporting, analytics, and all of that stuff. Whereas on the HUMANZ app, what you do is after you've posted, you need to then post a link or a screenshot of what you have done. This helps them in tracking the post that you've actually put out, the content that you've actually put out. So this is pretty cool for me because I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I don't actually know what analytics clients is looking for. And then I just send whatever I send. And then sometimes I'm like, this reporting template that I'm using is not really working for my client. They may not actually see the value that they're getting from some of the stuff that I'm doing. So that's a plus for me on the HUMANZ app. The second thing so after all of that is done, then your campaign may be completed depending on however many posts that you needed to post. Then obviously it's time for you to get paid. Now, this is where sometimes it gets a little sticky with the HUMANZ app for me, is that I never really know how long it's going to take for me to get paid. For instance, a couple of weeks ago, I did on a campaign, got finished, but there's no real communication in terms of how long it's going to take for them to pay. I have had a conversation, as I said, with them, and sometimes the guy said that sometimes they do even pay even before client actually pays them. So I think there needs to be a bit of better communications in terms of when are they going to pay, when a campaign gets wrapped up, and all of that. They also have what is called the HUMANZ Academy, and basically you can learn a whole lot of things about how to be a better influencer, what type of content, engagement, all of this. So it teaches you a little bit about how do you reposition and rebrand yourself to be an influencer that clients will be kind of attracted to wanting to work with. So perhaps maybe you're asking yourself, how do I get started on the HUMANZ app? Well, basically, the one important thing is to download the app and then download the app, link up all of your social media channels, be honest about your social media channels, link up the correct ones. I would suggest doing the academy so that you kind of give yourself a crash course of how to be a great influencer, especially an influencer that brands want to work with. And then do the work, There was a scandal a couple of years or a year ago about some girl who repurposed somebody else's content. You don't want to find yourself in those kind of situations because, as I said, you are like a media house or a media outlet. You don't want to find yourself being a media outlet that's copying other people. It just makes absolutely no sense. Stay authentic to the content that you are doing. Stay authentic. And also don't bid for all of the jobs. You could bid for work that is authentic to you, things that you relate to. For instance, I refuse to take certain brand campaigns if I can see that this is not aligned to the things that I do, right? And it's not even a matter of trying to compromise or not wanting to compromise myself. It's simply that for me to be able to put out authentic content, because many people will realize that I also don't like to do where I'm very specific about a product. So I would do very badly on product campaigns, right? So I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, my content is around financial independence, financial wellness. So whatever content I'm doing, it's going to always have a story I want to teach, all of those things are very important to me. So to just talk up a brand, it's something that I don't know how to do. So that's why I say know yourself, know what type of an influencer you are. Also, How much are you willing to spend on things like production? Because this is how people scam themselves. Like, I was looking at Pamela Mtanga's stuff and I was like, wow, this girl really goes in terms of a production, and it works. It's amazing for her. She's getting more brand partnerships. You can see it. You can see her growth on all her social media channels. But that's because she decided this is the type of influencer that I want to be. And then you can also find other people who are just really like me, to camera and, just literally doing what works, because for me, content is king. For certain brand campaigns, you may find that you need aesthetically appeasing cutaways, editing, and all of that stuff. So this is important for you as an influencer to know, because let's say, for instance, I do this a lot with my financial services sector brands, right? Campaigns where it's me straight to camera, I'm telling a story, and I'm deep within teaching. That's important for me. The content is important for me. If I were to go and bid, for instance, for like a perfume, like something that Pam has done, right? A perfume, or I want to do like some alcohol thingy, and you will see with my Benini stuff, now all of a sudden I'm doing aesthetics, I'm adding angles, shots, I'm bringing in somebody to do all of the shooting and the editing for me, because those are two different types of brands and I'm two different type of influencers on both. One, on my financial stuff, I'm definitely a subject matter expert. I'm coming through with stories and educating. On the Benini side, they are partnering with who they perceive as a powerful woman, somebody who's glowing up, somebody who's a go-getter. So obviously, I gotta marry the two personas. So it's important that if you want to make money through influencer marketing, you have an understanding of what type of a media outlet are you. Same thing. I'm a media buyer, so I'm very passionate about this, because I feel that there are certain adverts you would put, for instance, on CNBC that you might not put on SABC, or Mzansi versus a ENCA. So gotta ask yourself the type of channel that you want to create, the type of partnership that you want to have with these different types of brands. And if you are keen, you want to make some money, look, you're not going to get rich off the HUMANZ app. You will make some money. You will get chosen for certain campaigns. Some you will not get chosen for. And sometimes it's important to just reach out to the guys at HUMANZ and say, I've been bidding for months and years, but you guys don't select me. Is there something that you can look through and help me and give me pointers? Same thing that happened with us with YouTube. My YouTube at some point stopped growing. And when we were lucky enough to be part of the YouTube Black program, I had a campaign I had a manager. What are they called? I can't remember what they were called, but they were managers that gave us tips in terms of do thumbnails. You never have thumbnails. Do proper editing. Do proper lighting for your content. And all of that kind of elevated my YouTube channel. And now I'm steadily growing it again. So sometimes it's not that you're doing something wrong or that you're not being picked because they don't like you. You don't have the right amount of numbers. Sometimes it's just a couple of things that you've got to tweak to be able to elevate you from where you are to where you essentially want to be. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.